Grand Rising family, this is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Friday, November the 19th, 2021, and the time is somewhere around 8:52 a.m. I just wanted to come quickly and update you on the news that's going on because a lot of people say there's not a lot going on. We're never going to be free. There is a lot going on, family. Let's start with an announcement that OSHA suspended the enforcement of the Biden vaccine mandate. So I noticed that was circulating on social media on the 16th, but it wasn't officially reported until the 17th. Now, why do you think they suspended the enforcement of Biden's vaccine mandate? Well, first of all, it's unconstitutional. And I think that people need to study the Black's Law Dictionary. Let me get that for you. The Black's Law Dictionary does explain what a mandate is. So the lawful definition of a mandate is the legal definition of a mandate is a contract by which a lawful business is committed to the management of another and by him undertaken to be performed gratuitously. So the legal definition again of a mandate is a contract by which a lawful business is committed to the management of another and by him undertaken to be performed gratuitously. In other words, it has to be a contract. Yes, between businesses. And that's interesting because you are not a business. Not unless we're talking about your all caps name. You know, they do trick you by doing that, by capitalizing your name and making you agree that that's who you are. But this whole mandate is unlawful. It's not a contract. It's not an agreement between you and a business that they will manage you. In other words, it becomes mandatory when you agree to it. It becomes a mandate when you agree to this contract. And this is why people need to stop just mindlessly following anything because you don't have to subjugate to yourselves to anything unless you agree to it. So OSHA suspended that, and a lot of people are not aware of that. Another thing I wanted to bring up was this vacancy announcement of the vice presidency. Do you all remember that I told you that Miss Harris was unlawfully serving as the vice president? Because according to the Constitution, you have to be a natural born citizen and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, subject to the jurisdiction of America. Now, Kamala Harris, let me see if I can pull something up that I had written down. Kamala Harris was born in Oakland, California, to immigrant parents who were not citizens of the United States at the time of her birth. So even though she was born in America, that's not enough. At the time of her birth, she was born to immigrant parents. They were not naturalized. They were students. She is an anchor baby. This makes her native born and not natural born. Now, in order to understand the difference, you all need to understand or read and study etymology of words. This is going to be a quick video, so I'm not going to go into it. I went into it in my last video, the difference between natural born and native born. So you need to have been born of parents who are natural Americans. But even if we didn't have that argument, is she subject to the jurisdiction of the United States of America at the time of her birth? No, she was not, because her parents were immigrants. Therefore, they were subject to the jurisdiction of their respective countries, which are India and Jamaica. Her mother's Indian, her father's Jamaican. And since her parents are subject to the jurisdiction of their own respective countries, that means that Miss Harris is therefore subject to the jurisdiction of her parents' countries. Now, what I wrote down is Senator Kamala Harris is not, from a constitutional standpoint, a natural born citizen. She was born on American soil, but that's not enough to qualify for birthright citizenship. It's not even enough that one of her parents were, if one of her parents was legally present in the United States at the time of her birth. The issue is to whom do the parents and therefore the child owe their ultimate allegiance. So while they may temporarily be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, their ultimate allegiance, the to which they are subject, is their allegiance of their country or the nation of their birth. Do you see? Now, let me tell you what a constitutional lawyer said. John Eastman is one of the most distinguished constitutional law experts in America. He's also the professor of law at Chapman University and a senior fellow at the Claremont Institute. He says the phrase subject to the jurisdiction means subject to the complete jurisdiction, not merely a partial jurisdiction, but the complete jurisdiction, such as that which applies to anyone temporarily sojourning in the United States, whether lawfully or unlawfully. In other words, what he's saying, Mr. Eastman is saying, and he's a constitutional attorney, you must be subject to the jurisdiction completely, the complete jurisdiction of the state and the country of your birth, of which Kamala Harris is not. Now, I said that. If you want to look into that a little more, go back to the video that I did a couple days ago, right before this video. But what was interesting was this announcement of an alleged VP vacancy. It was on Twitter, but it was actually a Fox News report. And you can go to Twitter, look at, it was a November 16th tweet. And this guy is called Suburban Black Man. He took a clip of Fox News, which announced this. And in the clip, he said, rumors are swirling on Capitol Hill of a potential vacancy at vice president as Kamala's approval plummets and her relationship with the Bidens continue to deteriorate. Turmoil in the White House, he says. Well, that would be an understatement. So apparently they're saying there's a VP vacancy that may come up because the Bidens don't get along with Kamala Harris, and she's been saying a lot of stuff that's kind of off the cuff and off the wall, and her approval is plummeting. But I tell you that I believe this is soft disclosure. I've been telling y'all this from day one, from the first time she even ran for vice president, that she was unlawful. People attack me. Even lawyers attack me, tell me I don't know what was right. But a lot of lawyers do not study constitutional law. They were not trained in constitutional law. That's why under NESARA, they have to be retrained. But when you understand the verbiage of the Constitution, you realize that our forefathers wrote a clause in there that you must be natural born of the United States and subject to the complete jurisdiction of this country, because they wanted to protect us Americans from people who have an allegiance to foreigners or have foreign interests, who have an allegiance to China maybe or any other country. Now, her mother is Indian, which raises a red flag, because that means she's Asian. Is India beholden to the Chinese Communist Party? I don't know. Her dad is Jamaican. That's nice. I mean, we're America. We love and support everybody. But his allegiance is to Jamaica, and the mother's allegiance is to Asia. So Kamala Harris's allegiance, according to the Constitution, would be to her parents' country. What else do we have here? Oh, Zimbabwe announced having a gold-backed cryptocurrency, which I think is very interesting for those of my friends and family members who have invested in the Zimbabwean Zim. This could be good news that Zimbabwe has announced going gold and gold back. I said I would make this quick. The last thing I want to talk about is this whole Rittenhouse thing. Now, listen, we know that this guy with the last name of Rittenhouse allegedly shot, I think it was 2 or 3, some people say 4 other Caucasians at a Trump rally. And according to them, this guy is classified as white, and the people that he shot were classified as white. And so somehow the mainstream media is saying this guy is a white supremacist. Listen, folks, if you all don't know anything, you know that this country, the people in power, and particularly the liberals, love to pull the race card. They love to say race, race, race. Speaking of race, Kamala Harris pulled the race card, saying that she was black, saying that she was an AKA or Black Greek sorority, saying that she went to an HBCU, just to get the sentiments of the black so-called people classified as black. And it's just interesting the way they love to run to the black folk. But this Rittenhouse guy shot white people, or people classified as white, and yet they've made this a big ordeal about race. Pay attention, family, because they're going to make it an issue about race and about gun control. So allegedly, he's in court now, and everybody is waiting on his big verdict. It's not even, I don't even think this is big news, but they're trying to make it big news. Allegedly, Black Lives Matter is outside the courthouse, the Push Coalition, or Rainbow Coalition, or some foolishness like that. They're all outside the courthouse waiting to see what's going to happen, waiting on a verdict. And I'm thinking, I don't understand how a white guy shooting other white people is a Black Lives Matter issue, but you all know that Black Lives Matter and Antifa, they're all in cahoots. They're all part of the liberal agenda, and they're funded by George Soros Foundation. So anyway, they're outside waiting, and I couldn't make this make sense. And I've also heard that people are reporting that they're seeing trucks drop off bricks at certain locations again. So if you're in a blue state, be safe, be careful, protect yourself, and just know this, it's going to come out that Trump won the elections. Everybody's scared, so they might try to incite more rioting with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. So be safe. They're also saying that allegedly a Trump supporter pushed a Black Lives Matter protester outside the courthouse. They're also saying that a Black Lives Matter person was arrested outside the White House for doing something foolish. And they're just making this whole thing about race, black against white. They also brought up the fact that O.J. Simpson case, somebody who served as a consultant for the O.J. Simpson case is also working on this Rittenhouse case. And I thought that was very peculiar that they're using trigger words, right? O.J. Simpson, so it can trigger you, because we know that the O.J. Simpson murder trial really incited racial violence and rioting and racial division. And I even think that was a false flag event, because you ask me, Megyn Kelly, the reporter, looks just like Nicole Brown Simpson. So I think it was all staged. This is just me. This is my personal commentary. I don't buy it. I think it's staged. I think these are crisis actors. I think it's false flag events. And I think it's foolish that we allow ourselves to become emotionally charged over racial issues, which really don't exist, in my opinion. A lot of us are interracially dating. A lot of us are interracially mixed. A lot of us work. Listen, we work for so-called white institutions. We got our degrees from white institutions. I don't care if you went to a so-called historically black college and university institution. It was created and funded by people classified as white. Who cares? You got your degree from these institutions, and now all of a sudden you want to fight white people? It's silly to me. You work at institutions classified as white. We have governors and politicians and family members and friends who are classified as white, and now all of a sudden you're triggered and upset. It's ridiculous to me. Why are you upset when a white man allegedly kills white people or shoots white people in self-defense, nonetheless, when you got black people killing each other up in the black community en masse? Let's look at the numbers. They are ridiculous. I said this was going to be short. So they are ridiculous. The numbers in terms of black on black crime in urban communities are outlandish. It's horrible. So if Black Lives Matter, why don't you take your energy and time and go and rally in front of the gangbangers' houses and the drug dealers' houses, and why don't you tell them to stop committing violence in your communities? Why don't you tell the drug dealer to stop selling drugs in your community? If Black lives really matter, then stop getting abortions and instead become more responsible about who you lay with and what you do with your body, and stop killing your babies under the guise of female reproductive rights. Christians. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I'm off my soapbox. Be careful, be safe, get you some food, get you some water, get you some protection just in case. Look at my other videos. The end is near. We are really ascending to a higher dimension. That's why some of us don't even like addressing these issues, but we come on to our platforms in order to encourage you and to alert you of what's going on, of what they plan to do. They plan to get us emotionally charged. Don't let them. We're in control. God is in control. The Creator is in control. The angels are in control. The benevolent extraterrestrials that have come back to help us to liberate the planet, they are in control. We all know Trump never conceded. He won. He won in 49 states. I think the only one that was lagging behind was New York, but that's no surprise. And where is Cuomo? As a matter of fact, he's gone. Another thing I forgot to tell you is that Newsom was allegedly arrested in his home, I want to say last week, or maybe a week and a half ago. And allegedly the military ransacked his home, and he was hooked up to machines, and his doctor said that he was in critical condition. His wife and child ran to the panic room. The military let them alone, but they took him to Guantanamo. No, they took him to a military base. That's right, a military base with a hospital. So all this stuff is going on behind the scenes. More people are also reporting going gold or having a gold backed cryptocurrency. So I would just encourage you to, keep your vibrations high. Just know what's going on. Keep your emotions in check and be prepared. It's going to come out that Trump never lost. And he never conceded anyway. He will return. Okay? So that's about it, family. I love you. I can't think of anything else. Maybe if you want to prepare another way, get you some silver and gold, because we are returning to the gold standard, which is why Donald Trump had nominated Dr. Judy Shelton to be over the United States Treasury Department, because she's a gold bug and she supports gold. So we know he was moving in that direction. We also know that he merged the IRS with the United States Treasury because he's getting rid of the IRS via House resolution. I think it was 24 and 25, two House resolutions to monitor the IRS. But he merged the two because constitutionally, the only institution or the only department that's supposed to handle money is the United States Treasury Department, not the IRS, which is an unlawful, illegal corporation that has nothing to do with the law or nothing to do with the government. So our republic is being restored. NESARA will happen. A lot of good stuff is happening. Keep your emotions in check and your vibrations high, and stay encouraged. I love you. Mwah. Peace out, family. Have a good day. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt, your sister counselor, or you can call me Mama Kia, signing off. Peace.